This video is going to be my general impression of my General Grabber X3 tires. I've had these tires on this Jeep now for about 6 months. Before this, I had another set on for a year. It was a smaller size. These are 315/75 R16. Previously, I had 285/75 R16. The Jeep came with 16-inch wheels. You do what you can do. I had to keep getting metric tires to fit these wheels. But I'm going to be trading to a different wheel and tire shortly. So I wanted to just give impressions while they were still on the Jeep. So, first off, looks. Obviously, they're an aggressive looking tire. They're a mud tire. Can't say much more than that. They got huge meaty lugs on them. They look nice. They look beefy. No complaints about the looks at all as far as these tires. Compared to a Nitto Trail Grappler, Cooper STTs, all the big brands, all the big names, MTRs. These look just as beefy, just as meaty. When I purchased them, they were a lot cheaper than the other options, mostly to do with the brand name, also a little to do with the fact that these are 16-inch wheel and not the Jeep JK 17-inch wheel that the manufacturers like to bump the price up on for all of us Jeepers. The other part of that price was that they were Generals and not Nittos, Goodyears, BFGs. But now with COVID, the price of everything has pretty much become the same, and if not, all these tires now are marked up at this time of film. On-road performance, decent for a mud tire. They're not too loud. They do start howling around 5,000 miles, a little bit more. Right when you put them on, you're going to think, wow, these are the quietest mud tires I've ever had in my life. And once you start wearing through them a little bit, they do start getting a little louder. But that's to be expected. Mileage obviously changes with tire size more than with the actual tire itself. You probably will lose a mile and a half per gallon going to a mud tire, especially if you go bigger. This Jeep's calibrated and geared to 410, and on these 315s I did see about a 4 mile per gallon drop with all of that. So that's the gear ratio that had a lot to do with that. This tire is a 35-inch tire. Technically, although it's not called a 35, it matches up with everyone else that I've seen their 35s. It's about 11 and a quarter wide. So this is not a 35 by 12 and a half by any standard. It's a slimmer tire. Off-road, great tire. Good traction in dry condition, good traction in mud. Starts getting a little sketchy on the wet rocks. Partly due to the fact that this is an E-load rated tire because of the size. The 16-inch wheel, again, its downfall is an E rating. So can't get very sticky. Even at 12 PSI, which I've had these at, these walls will not give any flex to me at all on the rock. I'm sure if they were D-rated and you aired them down to 14, 12 pounds, you'd get really good grip. You'd get these side biters going into whatever you're trying to grab. But with these E-rated tires on a Jeep that only weighs 4,600 pounds, give or take, and there's 4 of these, and they're rated above 3,000 pounds a tire, you're not going to get any kind of low air traction at all. Again, with a D-rated tire, you might have a different experience, but I do like them off-road. Most of the wheeling I do is dry. We do get snow here in New England. I stay out of the snow, and I haven't really had any problems other than a few really wet situations after a snow melt where everything in New England is wet, and you can't get away from it. That's when the winch did come into play once or twice. So we learned the limits of the tires, and another limit is the size, which is why we're going to be trading up to something else. A little bigger, a little more ground clearance, something with a softer sidewall that I can air down more. Alright, wear. They wear pretty well. I had 10,000 miles on the last set when I took them off. They almost look new. The ones that were rotated more than the 5th, because I do a 5-tire rotation, you could definitely tell there was some wear on them, but I would say you could get at least 25,000, 30,000 miles out of them, and that's the way I drive, which is yeah, we go off-road, a lot of in-town driving, almost no highway mileage at all. So it's a lot of hard miles, stop, go, turns, curves, everything else. I think for the price, you get a good amount of mileage. You're not going to get 50,000 miles out of these, so there's no way. Again, they do wear on the loud side. They'll get louder as they wear, but that is most mud tires. As they start to lose their little distinct details that the companies put in to kill sound, they start to get louder. Again, being an E rating tire, they're not really softening up for me at all. Even with 5,000 miles I was aired down on the trail, you couldn't even tell I was at 12 psi. It looked like I had 25 pounds in the tire, just because of the class of the tire. And again, rotation. You got to rotate them. I rotate them every 5,000 miles. This set has 5,000 on it. It's up for rotation, but I'm not bothering because I'm going to be swapping them out in a week. The set before, I rotated twice, and I do 5 tire rotations, so that way I do get 30,000 miles out of a set if I ever keep a set long enough to get there. Because even though the tires will only go to 25, you throw an extra tire in that rotation, and math works for us, and we get another 5,000 or 7,000 miles out of a set. Never understood why people don't rotate the 5th tire. The dealers won't do it unless you ask nicely, and the mechanic shops don't like doing it, but if you can do it in your driveway, put the 5th tire in rotation. You're paying for a tire, you might as well burn through it like all the other tires. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the tire. No, have I driven them to obliteration and this is a review with 40,000 miles on them? No, it's not. But guys that are serious and that are using these for wheeling are not going to go around on bald tires, I would hope. And these are a decent choice. Again, in the market right now, you kind of get what you can get, and that's kind of where we're at with everything in general. But yeah, if you have any questions about the tire, leave me in the comments, and I will try to get back to you with an answer. Thanks for watching KG Jeeping.